what's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what Norwegians really think about America. Oh boy, I'm both excited, but also a bit nervous to hear about this. I honestly have no idea if Norwegians have a positive image of America or a negative impression, or maybe a mixture of both positive and negative, but I'm going into this with an open mind, and I am actually quite curious, what do Norwegians really think about America and Americans? Let's take a look.
Hva dine tanker om USA?
Oi, jeg har bodd 1 år i USA selv.
Okay.
Så jeg synes at det veldig spesielle mennesker der.
Yeah.
Så uansett hvor du drar, selv om USA forskjellig, så det veldig spesielle typer mennesker der. Og men de veldig, enten veldig konservative eller veldig liberale.
That's okay. She was starting out very polite, very, very nice. She was like, I've lived in America, so this is actually perfect. This is a Norwegian who has a very unique perspective. She has lived in the United States. She has seen it firsthand and interacted with Americans in America. That's very unique. I actually am really glad to hear her point of view. And she's like, okay, Americans are very unique. That's very nice. But her observation on Americans being very polarized politically. It's funny that the first thing she says, the very first thing she talks about, is American politics. And it's definitely true. Americans are very, very, very split, very divided. It's a bad thing. Americans are very conservative or liberal. You're either a part of the Republicans or Democrats, and they all hate each other and can't agree on anything. And that just kind of speaks to what a bad political system we have, because we only have 2 parties. And it also is a very accurate analysis of American culture right now, as far as politics go, but that is what she's talking about. It's true.
Jeg synes mange amerikanere litt arrogante.
Okay.
Litt sånn selvsentrerte.
Oh.
Men alt i alt.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is what I was afraid of, but I can't say she's wrong. A lot of Americans, especially to other cultures like Norway, Americans definitely can be very arrogant and self-centered, but that's just our culture here. That's kind of how we're raised, to think we're the best, to act like we're the best, to be the winner, to be the one. And we definitely lack that self-awareness and that community feeling that I think Norwegians are actually hold very, very close and dear. And it's very important in Norway. But in America, yeah, I think it's tough to hear, but I think she's correct. And of course, there's a ton of very nice people here in America as well. Don't get me wrong. But compared to other countries around the world, a lot of us can come across as arrogant, self-centered. Yeah.
Amerikanere litt arrogante.
Okay.
Litt sånn selvsentrerte. Men alt i alt et veldig fint land egentlig. Det jo veldig sånn, de veldig åpne folk.
Okay.
Sånn lett å snakke med og
That's nice. That's nice. That's the other side of it. Americans might be annoying or self-centered, but we also like to talk. We're friendly and open, which I know is a big difference from Norwegian culture. It's nice to hear that when Norwegians interact with Americans, they seem to like that Americans are very open and easy to talk to. Except when we get annoying. We can easily get annoying, but it seems like on its surface, Norwegians enjoy that about Americans. So she's had some criticisms and also some compliments, so I'll take it.
Hvilken stat var det du var i?
Minnesota.
Ja.
Okay.
De kanskje litt ekstra konservative i Minnesota?
Ja, veldig. Jeg bodde i en liten by i Minnesota,
Okay.
så det veldig konservative.
Det veldig...
That's kind of a nice thing about the United States, is the United States is so gigantic, so huge, that you can pick where you want to live in America. You can choose what kind of people you want to live by, based on your political ideology, or based on if you want to live somewhere really populated or somewhere really unpopulated. You can choose in America. There's every single option. If you want to live somewhere warm or somewhere cold, you have your pick. There is so much space, and you can kind of pick based on what you want or who you want to live by, which is kind of nice.
Veldig flerkulturelt land. Har vært på ferie der og følger litt med på politikken. Ganske interessant land.
Ja.
Quite interesting.
Ja, det skjer veldig mye der.
Ja.
Men det dekkes jo også veldig mye av hva som skjer der. Så det, ja.
That's interesting. That Norwegian media reports on America quite a bit, but America doesn't seem to report on anybody else in the world, unless it affects the United States. The United States only reports the news about the United States, or stuff that affects us. That's one of the reasons why I do a lot of videos looking at Norwegian news, actually, because I never get to hear about it. So it's interesting. It sounds like Norwegians are a lot more up-to-date on America and what's going on here, actually.
Det veldig kulturelt. Det påvirker veldig mye av det som skjer her.
Right.
Med en gang så tenker jeg at stort. Mange stater, jo.
Har du vært i USA, eller?
Jeg har ikke vært i USA ennå.
Nei.
Nei.
Er det på bucketliste?
Det på bucketlista, ja. Men kanskje for World Cup neste gang.
Ikke noe spesielt.
It's also interesting listening to Norwegians who have not been to the United States. I like hearing about that. It's fun because I get to hear like Norwegians' impression of the United States from Norway. Like just from what you've heard and seen from Norway. It's very interesting.
Bra, egentlig.
Nei, hva tenker du på da?
Det virker litt tredje verden.
Wow.
Det liksom, ting går til helvete der,
Ja.
virker som. Ikke alle stand da, men det går ikke akkurat, det ikke det beste
Whoa.
der, i hvert fall. Virker som.
Okay. So this is by far the most negative opinion so far. I mean, according to this translation, he said America is like a third world country. I don't agree with that at all. Obviously I'm biased, I'm American, but just from the point of view of there are so many countries in the world that are third world countries where you're literally starving to death, trying day to day to stay alive and be happy. America's not like that. Like, yes, there are homeless people and there's people starving, but it's not like a third world country where people are actually suffering and struggling to survive. I think you got to give America at least that much credit. Now, it's fine if you criticize America and say it's going to hell over certain things, and that's fine and whatnot. I'm curious to hear what other criticisms Norwegians have.
Hva tenker du?
Litt samme egentlig.
Ja.
Jeg føler bare dårlig helsevesen. Føler det bare korrupt og alt egentlig.
Det varierer.
Fint land, men
Ja.
sånn
Poor healthcare.
sykt dårlig.
Hva tenker du?
Yeah, okay. I agree with some of these things. Poor healthcare? Absolutely. I'm not arguing that one. That's one of the biggest complaints about the United States, from me as an American as well, is our healthcare system and the fact that it's possible for Americans to go bankrupt, go into massive debt based on healthcare. For Americans to not be able to pay for healthcare is crazy. In that sense, maybe we are kind of like a third world country, the way we set up our healthcare, because it's terrible and pretty shocking. It's corrupt. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of corruption in American politics, but I wonder if that's just true everywhere in the world. With people in power, there's always going to be corruption. But the United States, I think we try to pretend we're better than we are when there is a lot of problems like healthcare and corruption. That's true. I enjoy people talking about this, Norwegians pointing this stuff out to make me kind of think about this and be introspective about America. I enjoy it.
Som om amerikanere sånn spesifikt.
Jeg føler at de fleste våkner jo nå da, til mye som skjer. Og det veldig mange som har en mistro til staten, og det farlig. Det mener jeg litt så farlig. Du kan ikke ha at majoriteten har en mistro på staten, da, governmenten.
Jeg har kanskje litt
Wow. That's a really like keen observation. I think he's very correct. And that's really impressive that Norwegians can tell just looking at America. You can tell these things. Americans definitely have a lot less trust in our government over the years, for sure. And a lot less trust in our news media, which seems to focus on clickbait headlines and sensationalism and talking about stuff trying to divide our political parties. And I think that's what most of the mistrust is based on. All this sort of fear-mongering approach American government and American news has. It's sad.
fordom over det. Jeg har mange gode amerikanske venner, men nå har jeg møtt noen der man tenker litt sånn, ok, de har ikke helt peiling på, i hvert fall geografi i Europa, og litt sånn, sånne ting.
Hva tenker du?
That's very, very common. Oh my God. Yeah. So she has some American friends she enjoys. I like that. Like you can be friends with someone even though you think maybe something about Americans in general you don't like. You can still like individual Americans. And yes, Americans are terrible at geography. I'm terrible at geography. I don't know why this is such an American thing, but it's so true. We can like kind of label the United States, but we don't know where, like Europe, a map of Europe or the rest of the world is just way too difficult for us. I don't know why. We need to do better in our schools or something. It's kind of embarrassing.
Jeg føler det er litt for stort land til å si alt for generelle ting om amerikanere. Da. At det er litt for mange mennesker som bor på en måte.
Ja, ikke sant.
Så det er jo ganske stor variasjon mellom de som bor på landet og de som bor i de store byene og små byene og sånt da.
You know, I appreciate him saying that. Saying like, oh, I don't want to make any generalizations about Americans. It's too big. But at the same time, I appreciate the Norwegians that are willing to say things about Americans. It's okay. It's okay to like, because even if it's a stereotype or just an opinion, it's interesting. And you can get some insights from it, which I am. So I like his answer. I think that's true. But I also enjoy some of the answers others are giving that are even a little critical is okay.
Det kan variere ganske mye med tanke på hvilken stat og sånn du befinner seg i.
Ja, det
Tror du det er mer konservative eller liberale i USA?
Jeg tror jeg kommer litt an på staten, men sånn generelt sett så er de da kanskje litt mer konservative.
Jeg tror det kan være både mer konservative og mer liberale, men gjerne veldig mye mindre sosialistiske da, altså enn her. Så det er ikke så opptatt av å ta vare på hverandre, men å klare seg selv, holdt jeg på å si.
This guy is really he's like really on the nose. This guy is absolutely correct about it does depend on what state you live in, whether what kind of political ideology you're going to be around, what kind of political party, what kind of people you're going to live by. It just depends on the state. That's just kind of how it works. It's a little strange when you think about it, but America is definitely divided up that way. And what he said about us focusing on taking care of ourselves rather than each other. They mentioned that a little bit at the beginning of this video, and I think that is so true. I never realized what an American thing that really is. But in America, we definitely have a mentality of watch out for yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure, do what you gotta do to get ahead. That's definitely a mentality we have, rather than taking care of each other and focusing on the community. And this is really opening my eyes to that, which is one of the reasons I enjoy a video like this, with some criticism.
Overfladiske. Veldig sånn, tenker bare på seg selv, på en måte, at det litt sånn, jeg vet ikke, du skal liksom... Ja, det virker så kapitalistisk tankegang, liksom, selve menneskene nå, og at det liksom, de skal alltid tjene på ting, på andre, og det er alltid, du ser liksom være i verdien på folk, altså pengemessig,
jeg skjønner. Så mye pengejag, liksom. Det er mye fokus på det.
Ja.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I am very impressed. I'm a little, these are all kind of, now it just seems like a lot of criticism and a lot of negative thoughts, but that doesn't mean we should shy away from it. I welcome this. I welcome thinking about these things. I think it's good for Americans. It's good for you to think about these things. I'm amazed at how accurate and correct some of these opinions are. Americans definitely focus on money, focus on making money, hustle culture, as we call it here. Trying to make money off other people. That goes back to the self-centered thing and trying to get ahead, make money, capitalism. And as an American, I think businesses, small businesses, making money, I think that's good. Everyone should try to do that and do what makes you happy. I support that, but at the same time, it can go too far. It can go too far and be a bad thing. So I think it's good to think about it like this.
Hva tenker du?
Ja, egentlig enig. Jeg føler sånn, hvis jeg tenker på en stereotypisk amerikaner, så tenker jeg sånn, en høylytt person som drar til Europa på ferietur på sommeren. Bare
klage.
Den personen som du hører bak deg på restauranten som er megahøylytt og ler høyt og sånne ting.
Hva tror du er den største?
When she thinks of a stereotypical American, she thinks of a very loud person. That is that is funny how accurate that stereotype is. Not all Americans are super loud and annoying, I swear. But it seems like compared to Norwegians and compared to a lot of other countries, when you're in Europe or you see a foreigner and they're loud and annoying, it's an American. And it's because Americans really focus on ourselves. It all comes back to that. Americans really, I never thought about it this much. Americans don't think about how we affect other people, which is sad. And it's why Americans are loud and annoying and don't seem to care. In America, you're not taught to focus on other people enough. It's too self-centered. And that it all stems from that, doesn't it? This is actually quite fascinating to think about. A little too real as well. Oh my gosh.
Det er forskjellen på Norge og USA.
Oh, the biggest difference between Norway and America. Oh, okay. The biggest difference. I mean, kind of what they've been talking about. How loud and annoying Americans are and self-centered. Norwegians seem to be more reserved, more respectful. That's a big difference. What else is there?
Ja, det er vel kanskje den tankegangen at du skal klare deg selv, da. Det kom. De som dro bort starten var jo for å få frihet og selvstendighet. Det henger nok litt igjen i dag. Ja.
Ikke sant? Hva tenker du?
Ja, jeg er enig i det. Altså her er det mer staten sørger for at du kan prøve ting, men at det går greit hvis du ikke får det til, mens i USA så er det kun opp til deg selv om du får det til eller ikke.
Jeg tror at...
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. This is a great video. I'm so thankful to these Norwegians for being so honest and willing to do this, because this is... These Norwegians are very insightful. I mean, this analysis they're giving is so accurate. It's amazing. It's giving me a lot of thoughts. He's absolutely correct. Here in America, we refer to it as a government handout. It's a negative thing. When the government has to help you, it's a bad thing. It's a dirty thing. That's what we're taught in America. In Norway, that's the point of government, is to help the people. It serves the people. And there's all these social systems in place in Norway, I know, that helps with education and healthcare and other things. And for some reason, that is like a bad thing in America. I don't know why. I don't know why that is considered a bad thing in America. Like in America, he's right. It's all about doing it for yourself, making your own way, not accepting any handout. That's how we've kind of twisted it into a negative thing. And it's honestly pretty sad, huh?
at nordmenn de mer åpne for ting. Man kan overbevise nordmenn om flere ting. De kan ha litt flere meninger samtidig. Og også om det noe de uenige med, så kan de på en måte, altså de respekterer deg uansett, sant? Amerikanere, de føler jeg nesten født med en mening. De har en mening selv, og så stikker de til den, og så han veldig konservativ, sant? Enten så du superliberal, kan være sånn, du kan være hva slags kjønn du vil, eller ikke, med sånn byttekjønn når du liten og sånne ting. Eller så de sånn at homofile kanskje, altså, det finnes ikke, det et valg, sant? Og så har du den meningen, og så det nesten ingen forandring.
Wow. Wow. This is a really, really nice observation as well. So she believes Americans are we're not willing to change our opinion. I think that is pretty true. I don't know like firsthand about Norwegians, but she says Norwegians are more open-minded, which I am inclined to believe that. Americans, I don't know. It depends. Some Americans are open-minded. I feel like a lot of Americans are not open-minded anymore as time has gone on. I think Americans are very, very divided right now and we argue a lot and we can't agree on anything, especially politics. It's really all politics. It's so bad. It's kind of refreshing to hear about Norwegians talk about this and that there's another way. Because here in America, it's not good.
Slags kjønn du vil, eller ikke, med sånn byttekjønn når du liten og sånne ting. Eller så det sånn at homofile kanskje, altså, det finnes ikke, det et valg, sant? Og så har du den meningen, og så det nesten ingen forandring på det. Så det tror jeg en stor forskjell.
Janteloven.
Right. Americans definitely don't like changing, we don't like changing our opinions because it means admitting the other side was right. And Americans never want to admit that they were wrong, or even worse, that the other guy was right. That's where it all kind of stems from, and it's not healthy. It's not a healthy mindset to have, actually. Very true. Wow, I think I'm gonna stop here for now. This is a great video. These opinions are so interesting, and this analysis is so interesting, and hearing from Norwegians has just been so fascinating today. A lot of criticisms. We've gotten to the point in this video where it's basically all criticisms, which is fine. I think it's good. I'm actually enjoying hearing about this and reflecting on some of these things, but we're only about halfway done with this video, so I think I'm going to stop here for now and continue the rest of this in part 2. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, feel free to give it a like, or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.